butterfly effect? Simply put, it means when we make a small change in the things that we do, somewhere down the line, there's bound to be a huge tidal wave. In the way that we live our lives, there's always going to be an effect. What that effect is going to be, we'll just have to wait and find out when it does. So, in getting pregnant at the age of 18, what kind of butterfly effect was there? We're going to find out as we live out loud with Jean Kionga next. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. I'm Sheila Mwaniga. I'm happy you're on this channel. Please click subscribe, drop us a comment and share this video if you see something that means something to you. Click notifications as well so you get to catch up with us every Monday when we upload new episodes from the Waterfront Karen, a world-class destination that's great with retail and lifestyle. If you're looking to set up shop or expand your business, or are just simply looking to experience a great day out, this is a place for you to be. And we're living out loud with Jean Kionga. It's all about the butterfly effect in this conversation. Jean, you sent me an email and I read it, and I got that email in the middle of the night. Well, it was almost the middle of the night because of when I logged on and I checked. And I thought to myself, I have got to find this woman. And I just like us to dive straight into the story because it all began when you were only 18 years old. You got pregnant. Hey, little mama. What was that like? You know, because I'm just thinking, having to tell your parents, what was that like?
It was crazy. First of all, I was in university and I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was a few months along. So to start thinking, how am I going to tell my parents, especially because I came from a very strict home, I kept thinking, oh my God, should I keep the child? Should I not? Or will I die if I get an abortion? Should I, but at the end of the day, I thought, you know what? It's not the child's fault. So I'm going to deal with whatever I have to deal with. So one day, I gathered the guts to go to my mother and tell her from very far away, whispering, oh yeah,
if you
I
could
think
text then it would be
yeah,
good.
those days we could not, there was
then.
no texting. I mean, we had phones, but there was not so much texting.
Yeah.
So I whispered to her that I thought I was pregnant.
Right.
And she's like, think or no.
Now that you mentioned it.
And you expect your mom to be so angry.
Yeah.
That's what I expected from her. But she was so sad. And because I wasn't expecting that, it really caught me off guard. I didn't know how to react as well because she was so sad after that.
Yeah.
But it was very hard because now you're trying to think, I'm in school, should I stop school? Should I get a job? What am I going to do? The father is not in the picture from the very beginning.
What, when you told him, he scattered completely?
Yeah, completely. And I have never seen him to date.
No way.
Can you imagine?
Did you try and look for him?
I
Is he
did.
still alive?
I did.
Because
I did. After the anger,
yeah,
I did try to look for him, but it didn't work. Right. So I guess I have that peace of knowing I've forgiven him for that.
Right.
But I also have the peace of knowing I tried.
You tried
to get him to be in his son's life.
But
it didn't work out.
For some people, it's such a terrible thing that they give up on.
Yeah.
And then years down the line, they just realize it wasn't that much that was being asked of them.
Yeah, I know.
But by the time that reality sinks in, too much time and too much water has gone under the bridge. All right, so you told your parents and they got over, the disappointment and the sadness.
Eventually.
And what was that like? Because I'm just thinking, being in campus and then you're different.
I know.
And you're pregnant and the stigma too,
The interesting thing is I never told people I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I just used to come to school. So if you think I'm pregnant, maybe you have the guts to ask me, but I never ever said I was. I told very few people. And it was very hard for me because I had very few friends who I trusted with that information. And then I had to deal with it by myself at home because nobody was talking to me. They just started talking to me towards the end of the pregnancy, but you can imagine you go home and nobody talks to you because you're pregnant, because you've brought all this shame to the family.
Right.
You know, it's not like now, even at that time, there was still this like, how have you made your parents look? You know, you brought the name of the family down. You know, you've embarrassed your parents. So there was so much shame.
And that's so,
And
difficult
it was
for a
so lonely.
teenager.
Yeah, it
you
was
know?
so lonely.
And that's what it is. You've said
Yeah.
it. It was a lonely experience. And nobody understands
No.
teen pregnancy. Nobody feels what a teenager is feeling when they're pregnant because you're not quite adult yet.
Yeah.
But now you've got adult responsibilities that you don't even know how to begin to deal with.
Yeah.
And there's nobody to talk to
There's
about
nobody.
that.
Yeah. I tried to go to some people, but it didn't work. And I think I would cry every day. I would cry, like, I was so sad that even when my son was born and he was always crying, I thought it was because I was so sad during that pregnancy. I don't remember a time I was happy when I was pregnant. I do not. I didn't have any pretty moments. I didn't take pictures. It was, I mean, I think I only spoke to God. In fact, that's where at that point, I decided to kind of like find God because that's the only way I could survive without losing it. And I had one or two very good friends who really helped me out because you can imagine you don't have money for maternity clothes, you can't ask your mother. Because every time she looks at you, you're growing bigger and bigger
and your
and
clothes
bigger.
can't fit. And oh my goodness, I can't even.
Oh my God, everyone is angry at you. Everybody. So you're just trying to survive. You know, even my sisters, you know, now we're in a good place, but even at that time, we were not in a good place. You know, to have your younger sister disrespect you because of that, it's really difficult.
So the baby came, and I'm hoping that with the birth of the baby, the dynamics in the household began to change.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it did. When a baby comes, they bring so much joy, and people forget what happened during the pregnancy, and everybody is so happy. And it's amazing. I keep saying my son, first of all, made me grow up because how I was living as well, the choices I was making were the wrong choices. And he made me and my mom closer. So that helped. He just brought joy in the home. Can I say that? He did. He did.
And that's
it
what
was
babies
amazing.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They really do. And the relationship with your parents became better.
Yeah.
And I think you went on and finished your college education.
So yeah, I used to work during the day and I'd go in the evening for night classes because at the end of the day I had to provide for my son. And so I pretty much missed out on university life, as you would call it. You know,
Oh,
like,
you didn't miss anything.
I didn't miss anything, right?
Oh, no. Believe me.
I was busy just
If I had the choice to go back and do it again, no. Don't take me
No,
back.
huh?
No.
I didn't really miss anything.
Nope. And anyone who tells you otherwise is just lying.
So that's good. Thank you for telling me that. So I
You're
didn't
very
miss a
welcome.
period
You
of my
didn't
life.
miss- you don't feel like you missed anything. Right.
Yeah. So I finished my degree finally, and I started to look for better jobs, and that's when I got a job with Emirates, which it was kind of like, oh, should I not take it? Because it was a very good opportunity, but it meant I had to leave my son, and he was around 3 years old at that time. So I was like, should I not? But when I spoke with my mom, we were like, you know what, you have to provide financially for your child. At the end of the day, you don't have the luxury of saying, oh, okay, you know what, I'm just going to sit home and let my mother do all the work and
She's already raised you
Yeah,
and
she's
your
already
sister.
raised us.
Give her a break.
Yeah. And I knew once I leave, he's in such good hands because they were so close. By the way, if you see them, you think I'm the sister and she's the mother. They are so close. So I knew he'd be in good hands. And I knew with this job, I could keep coming back quite frequently. So I took the job and I left and I went to Dubai for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a very long time.
What was it like being away from home, being away from your son, you know, because you sort of whizzed through the phases and stages of life so quickly that you didn't really get to enjoy being a mom long enough. You didn't get to enjoy being single girl out in the world long enough. And then here you're working, but then you've also got to support your child back home. What was that like?
it was different. It's like, you know, when I got this job and the people I met there, they want to see life. You know, now it's your chance to travel the world. But for me, when I get my money, I'm thinking, okay, school fees. I'm thinking I have to send money home. I can't go for trips during my days off with my friends because I have to go home and see my son so he doesn't forget how I look.
Exactly.
And that time he can't talk on Skype, so I have to make sure I'm there, he doesn't forget me. So it was like someone would say I didn't get the full experience of being out and traveling and having a job that allows me to go around the world. But I feel I did a lot of it. I didn't have
because
to be
by
extra.
the nature
Just
of
the
the job
nature of the
itself.
job.
Yeah.
At
yeah.
work. I
It
get
meant
to-
that you have to travel
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
And then you met somebody
yeah.
and you fell in love.
I fell in love.
And you said yes. You put a ring on it and such like things. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So before I say that, I remember my son, when I would come visit him, he'd be like, Mama, when are you getting married? And I'd be like, why? He's like, because when you get married, you'll move back home. So I'd be like, yeah, I'll move back home. So when my son heard I was getting married, he was so excited because he was finally like, yes, we're going to have a home together. I knew my husband for a very long time, so he already had a relationship with my son. But then now we became serious, and I knew I didn't want to have a long distance marriage. And I knew when I got married, it was time for me to come back home.
Yeah.
So it was never a question of should I stay or should I not. It was I'm coming home to be with my son before he's too old, so I don't miss his whole life. So it's like everything just worked perfectly for it. His prayers were answered. But my son from 2 used to pray, give me a dad. So, I mean, it just worked out.
And in talking to him, because just before we move on to being married and moving back, in talking to your young son from the age of 2 and he's asking you for a dad, what did you tell him about his father?
I mean, at first he was too young, but I didn't want to lie, like say your dad died. What if one day he appears?
Shows
you
up,
know,
close son.
or I don't know
and
who
then
your
they look
dad
alike.
is.
There's no doubt about where he's from.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know what to tell him. I just said, I told him you have a dad. He's just not here at the moment. And to be honest, my son never really asked me about his dad. He just used to say, I wish I had a dad. But he would never ask me about his dad. In fact, interestingly enough, it's yesterday when he asked me details about his father.
Wow.
Yeah, yesterday. And I was like, why, do you want to
Get in touch
get
with
in touch? He's
him?
like, no.
I just wanted to know.
I just wanted to know, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So being a young bride, having a son, having a husband, and your
Yeah.
son having a father, I'm sure it wasn't as rosy
Yeah.
as it sounds when you describe it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
So, you know, you have this wedding, which is amazing.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And you're like, oh, my life is set, thank you, Jesus. And then you come back home and you realize, oh, we don't really know each other, all of us. I've never lived with my husband. I've never really lived with my son, except when he was really tiny. So here we are, 3 strangers in one home. We're all trying to get to know each other. My husband has never lived with a young child in the house. Not even a child, a teen.
Oh, Lord.
You know, a teen. So just the dynamics in the home, how I expected it to be, voila, we are together.
Freshly
and
baked
it's gonna
cookies
be
every
perfect.
day and pancakes for breakfast. Where?
It was
something
so
else.
hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard. There was even a moment I thought he didn't want to live with us. Because here we are, I'm trying to just figure out my marriage.
Yeah.
I've just moved back to the country and I don't know what I'm going to do. And just nothing is working. You know, everything that you hoped for,
Yeah.
it's not turning out the way it was supposed to. So it was a very difficult few months. Then I found out I was pregnant. It was good news, but then just the pregnancy itself just made me even more stressful. It was more stressful.
Yeah.
So it wasn't easy. And I had to get a lot of advice from my mom because she was like, look, you don't know him, he doesn't know you. You need to get to know who your son is.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, you're a single mom, you're a great single mom because I take good pictures and I take him places. But I've
Being
never
a mom
spent-
is more than a picture.
I didn't know him. And I'm still getting to know him and get to know his personality more. And he's getting to know me as a mom.
Yeah.
He knew me as a friend. So even when I was strict, he's like,
And who might
Who's
you
this?
be telling
Yeah.
me what to do?
yeah. And why are you shouting at me and why are you being strict? Don't you love me?
Yeah.
You know, because you're so used to
Showers
gifts
and gifts
and this
and
we are
love and
traveling
hugs.
and
There's
we're
no screaming, there's no yelling, because you always maximize
Yeah.
on the little time that you
Yeah.
have together.
Yeah.
All right, so you started a vlog.
Yes.
You told me a little bit about it in your email. And it was an outlet because you were just going through it and you needed to find a way to just speak
Yeah.
and to work through some of the things that you were going through.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and why it was important for you to do that.
I tried to start a vlog because I remembered my first pregnancy, how lonely it was, how I didn't have anyone to talk about it with. So I felt like, you know what, I'm going to share this. Because now I'm in a place where I'm proud of it. I am happy that I am pregnant. So I started a vlog just to share my experiences of what had happened before, as well as what was happening at that time. And because of everything that was happening in the house, it really helped. Because I had somewhere where I could just go talk about what's happening, what's going on, and it's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And no one could really
No
tell
one was going to
me.
catch feelings.
Yeah,
No one was going to slam the door because you've said something.
Yeah.
It was a safe space
Yeah,
for
it
you to
was
be
a
able
safe
to just
space.
breathe.
And my husband was happy because he was like, you know what, her mood is even changing just
Yeah.
by her having something to do. You know, I'm so used to working for 9 years, and then I come home. I'm not a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
My God, I used to be like, what do these women do the whole day?
Yeah. It can be quite something.
I was like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me. So that was something to do, and I started doing that.
In fact, you titled the conversation "The Butterfly Effect." Having a baby at 18, you know, it's one small thing that you do, but then it has repercussions across the years, across time and space. The things that happen in one plane affect so much more other than
Yeah.
just ourselves.
Yeah.
And I look at the effect of, you know, just having the baby and getting married, and you know the impact that being so young and becoming a mom has had on you. And that effect is not negative at all.
No.
Because through your vlog, there's something that you're now doing to give back.
Yeah.
You're letting other ladies who've been in that position, who've been lonely, who've been deserted, who've been abandoned, who are living with family but really quite honestly feel like they're living in
Yeah.
a prison. But these are the people who are supposed to love you the
Yeah.
most. There's no one talking to them.
Yeah.
And so the butterfly effect of being a young mom is you're now there for young moms.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
That's why when someone asks me, who am I always say I'm a woman under grace. Because I feel something that was meant to shame me, like God used it for good. God turned it around for good. So he has enabled me to use a story of shame and feeling judged and all the stigma and bring it out and be brave enough to talk about it and help someone else who's going through the same thing. But with her butterfly effect, my thing is not to deal with things as they're happening. It's what can I do based on what happened to me to ensure it doesn't happen? What steps am I taking to change the course of someone's life? You know, so that's the effect I'm talking about. And I feel it's best to deal with things before, which is why I'm very passionate about young girls, than to deal with things when they have happened. At a point, it's either too late, or there's nothing much you can do. Because I remember even during my vlogging, one girl reached out to me with my story. She was going through what I went through.
You almost felt like she'd found your diaries and she was telling you what you went through.
Like, I was just like, oh my God, like, why? You know, she's so young. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is how young I was. You know, now I see it and I'm like, she's so young. But me telling her, you know what, if I have made it, you will make it. At least you have someone to WhatsApp or to text and ask and tell, oh, I'm having a bad day, what can I do?
Yeah.
But I didn't have
anybody to talk
anybody.
to. Yeah.
But I'm glad, you know, to be there for someone.
So you've done such great things with the vlog, and
Yes.
is it something that you're still doing?
No, it's not something I'm doing at the moment. I felt for now that season is over.
Okay.
Only because I felt it was just for that specific season.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm focusing on her butterfly effect specifically, and I designed this program for girls. So now I'm just going out and doing the program.
Right.
For the young
and when you
girls,
talk
yeah.
about the program, what's it about?
So the program is called the Princess Diaries. and it just basically targets like teens, girls from 13 to 16, because I believe these are the foundational years where you can get them to actually listen, and then they make the right choices. I felt an older bracket is too late.
Yeah,
They're
by then you're already
doing.
set in your ways.
Yeah.
You've already understood this is how the world operates.
You think you know.
Yeah.
But at 13, you're prone to listening and asking more questions.
Yeah.
So what I did is create a safe space where these girls can now ask anything they need to ask, and I can share what I've gone through, share what I have, the wisdom that I have gained in all this. And yeah, just basically have a place to talk to them about life. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you're on social media
Yes,
with
I
this
am.
platform and this initiative, and you're open to helping anybody who reaches out.
Yes.
You're not going to say, I don't do that anymore.
No, I won't say
Try
that.
again another day. Okay, I'll stop doing
I'm
that.
sorry, no.
I'm sorry, I'm busy. But you're open to assist because, still young girls are getting pregnant. Still, a lot of things are happening and nobody wants to talk about them. And so you will give us permission to share the contacts and the details of the platforms for Her Butterfly Effect,
Yes, of course.
so that we can reach out and assist. In closing, I'd like you to speak to parents because there's somebody who's watching and his daughter has just said, I'm pregnant. And they feel like they have failed as a parent. They might be feeling like, how could you do this to us? That whole circus that is having your child become pregnant. I mean, very young. What would you like to say to them?
I'll speak first from being a daughter and then now being a
And
mom.
then being a mom.
As a daughter, you don't do things to punish your parents. You do things thinking you're doing the right thing. You don't know, even if sometimes your parents have spent the time to advise you, tried everything they need to do, but sometimes you just have a mind of your own.
Yeah.
And at that age, you think you know, but you don't. You think you're making a right decision and it turns out to be a mistake. But once it's done, it's done. You need to love that child. If my mother hadn't taken me back, I don't even know where I'd be now. Because when I look at where I am now, someone would have said at that age, where would I end up? I'd be just useless. But I've done so much better than most people expected me to do. So just love your child. That's what I would say. Love your child through it. A great example is Sarah Jakes.
Yeah.
Look where she was and look where she is now.
Up to now.
Just because something has happened now doesn't mean that God has counted your child out. Although being a mom now, I
You
do
can
see,
understand
I understand
from
where
the
my
other
mom-
side as well.
You've tried, my mom really tried.
Yeah,
to
and you
be-
want your daughter to have more options than
Yeah.
you. You want her to be able to finally say when she's ready to have the kids.
Yeah,
to
at the
make
right
at the-
time.
exactly.
I keep telling my son, get children when you're married.
Yeah.
Because now I understand.
Yeah.
You want the best for your children.
True.
But I think just as a mom, we just have to realize our children are not in our hands. Our children are in God's hands. At the end of the day, pray for them and hope that they have the wisdom to do what it is the right thing. But then again, invest in your child so that if you're having an awkward moment talking to them, if it's not easy for you to open up to them, then have a place like Her Butterfly Effect, where your kids are being spoken to about things you feel awkward talking to them about.
And it's things that they should be aware about, things they should be conscious of.
Yeah, exactly.
Jean, thank you so much for making the time to sit with me and sharing your life journey. I'm so glad that you've been so candid. And thank you for sending that email in the middle of the night. Okay, fine, it wasn't in the middle of the night. But she is on social media. At least her initiative is Her Butterfly Effect. And you can find out more by checking out my social media sites because we're going to tag you on those so that anybody, whether it's a parent who's going through the situation or a young girl who's found herself in that situation, we're not going to let them fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
There's still joy coming in the morning.
Exactly.
There's a reason for everything. Thank you for watching this episode. As always, do click subscribe. If you've seen something in this conversation that somebody needs to see, please share it. it's okay. Drop us a comment, hit subscribe, hit notifications. That way, you don't get to miss out on an episode, and we upload every Monday. We are at the Waterfront, Karen, a world-class retail and lifestyle destination. If you're setting up shop or are looking to expand your business, this is the place to be. It's an also excellent location to enjoy a great day out with friends and family. Until the next episode when we catch up, live out loud in all that you do. Bye!